Hello, everybody. Welcome to your weekly bump. Thank you guys so much for being here. September readings are in the works. I probably won't have them done until the end of the week. I apologize for the delay. Just life kind of got in the way this month a little bit, so I did get behind, but as soon as they are ready, I will publish them as always. We've got 3 piles in front of us this week. We have a Carnelian stone, pile 1, a rose quartz, pile 2, Chrysocolla, pile 3. Feel free to take a moment, pause the video if you have to feel intuitively drawn toward one pile or another. If you don't quite know which one to pick, that is okay. You can always just randomly pick one. I always say there's an element of destiny with these pick of cards. So there you go. Timestamps down below in the description and the comment thread. I'll see you guys in just a sec. Thanks. Okay, pile number 1, you guys selected the Carnelian stone. I love this because it is connected with that root chakra. So there is an element of fearlessness and courage coming through. Let's go ahead, take a look. We have the Ace of Cups, 8 of Cups, Queen of Coins, 10 of Wands, and 2 of Swords. Okay. Clearly you're in search of something else. There is an element of dissatisfaction with either where you're at, and I don't mean that you can't express gratitude or appreciation for where you're at, but there's also a little bit of a restlessness, I feel, with that 8 of Cups. There's a looking up, so to speak, looking up at the moon here, keeping your eye on the goal. I think a lot of you are having that question of like, what am I really meant to give in this life? Which might be for some of you the first time that you've ever genuinely asked that question. I think a lot of times we ask the question, well, how can I, give the most? How can I provide the most value? But on kind of the dark side of it, sometimes there's like, well, what can I get out of it? And I think for the first time, you don't have that. There's no like ulterior motive. There's no hidden agenda to like make $1 million or whatever. It's just like, what can I really give? And because you're asking the question with the right intent, I do suspect that answer is coming rapidly in your direction. I think you've sacrificed a lot to get to where you are, and you're starting to really understand the value of helping, the value of service, Queen of Coins. Really starting to understand the value of nurturing the world and the community around you. And I think that the world has pushed you to a brink a little bit. It's just been all a little too much. And I think the drive for all of us, not just pile 1, but for all of us, is to make our lives more simple. And I think that's at the very forefront of your mind. How do I make my life more peaceful, 2 of Swords, more content? How do I create a life that is something that will just simply make me happy? And for whatever reason, I do feel that there is a little bit of a trade-off, a willingness, if you will, to sort of trade the material reward, which may have been a motive in the past, but to trade a material reward for a spiritual fulfillment. And you're starting to really understand what that means, what a spiritual fulfillment means, what a profound contribution to humanity actually really means. The thing that's so great about what I'm seeing is that I don't think it requires a great deal of change on your part. It's just more of a change in perspective, because you've always had the gifts, you've always had the talents, you've always had the ideas and the concepts, you've always had the ambition. It's just now, for the first time, you're starting to see it for what it is, which is truly the gold mine that exists within you. In the past, maybe it was just like, oh yeah, I'm good at that. Just kind of brushed it off. But I don't know that you're going to be able to really do that anymore. Because I don't think you want to. You're not going to be able to because you don't want to. Now, there may be a choice in front of you, 2 of Swords. There may be this sort of perception of a crossroads. But really with this 2 of Swords, I always say, like, it's not about the choices in front of you. It's not about going down one path or the other. It's more about the central, staying as central as possible. It's kind of like, which do you pick, a Democrat or a Republican, right? It's kind of like the 2 wings of the same bird, so to speak. So it's not really about going down one path or the other. It's about walking down the middle. And somehow walking down the middle has become, the untrodden path. And I kind of almost am seeing like a trinity. We have the left sword, we have the right sword, and we have you in the very center. So it is a trinity. There is this perfect balance. There is this perfect form of unity. And because I think you're actually looking in the right direction, you're going to receive the answers probably sooner than you think. And I just love that you're coming into, I love this card so much. She's just so pretty. I just love how you're coming into this like sense of self-appreciation. Like you're actually really starting to appreciate what you have. You're starting to appreciate your knowledge and your talents in a way that may have been egoic before, but now it's a real appreciation. And when you have that real appreciation, there is that genuine desire to give and to contribute. So I think there's a spiritual move going on for you guys this week. And this may have a lot to do with Mars really slowing down in the sky. And Jupiter starting to slow down as well, ready to go direct next week. And there's beauty there. Allowing yourself to slow down for a minute, to really look deep inside, to really see what you've always seen and you just were too afraid to admit it. Am I letting fear stop me? Are you experiencing a mountain of fear right now? Are you stalling, freezing, or giving up? The juicy secret is that you are the boss of fear. You are unstoppable, but it's up to you to see that by taking action. And I do. I think this Eight of Cups is very action-oriented. It's about putting down the load, putting down the burden, putting down all the stuff that you really don't care about, and really letting this intrinsic value shine through. Why is it so scary? It's like it seems seemingly a lot less scary for us to just do something new. It's a lot less scary to do that than it is to let stuff go. So you're seemingly doing the scariest thing by letting things go, by releasing people, saying goodbye to things. Finally, weirdly, I'm telling you to quit on things. Weirdly, it's kind of how I feel like you're kind of like telling you to quit, kind of telling you to give up. But it's giving up on the things that you already know really aren't for you, or that you don't like, or things that you don't really want to work into your life, right? So just stop. There is this element of like just stopping. Stop trying so hard. And that's kind of what I see with this 10 of Wands. There's like this bird, right? He's got all these wands. Like a bird can't carry 10 wands. Of course he's going to fall. Of course he's going to be upside down. Of course he's going to like fall flat because there's just too much. The load is too heavy. So you have to prioritize and you have to pick only the things and only the people and only the parts of the path that enable you to fly. And we have the two birds over here flying. So it's about 2 things, not 10 things. You and your loved ones are safe. And adjustments are required. Maybe sometimes that's what we need to know, right? That we're safe. I'm telling you now, you're safe. It's okay to let that stuff go. It's okay to take that risk. It's okay to sacrifice that thing or that relationship. Like it really, really is okay. Sometimes this was a kind of a theme last week as well, of like sometimes we feel like we need to have that safety net before we even jump off the cliff. Well, if you're not jumping off the cliff, well, then you have no need for the safety net, right? The universe is like, don't worry, you're safe. Don't worry, it's all good. Don't worry. But you do need to make some adjustments. You do need to, revise your time, revise your focus. Authority. And I love that card for you guys. That's great because it's telling me that you're stepping into that role of authority. And I like that with the Queen of Coins as well, because now you get to determine, you get to decide how your talent and skill and value is divvied up, how it is distributed. You're stepping into self-power right now. The authority energy is really about self-control, really about strong boundaries and limits and really demanding respect. And that's a lesson that a lot of us had to learn the hard way the past couple of years. But now it's not about learning the lesson anymore. It's about walking in the wisdom of the lessons. So you have to practice. You have to put yourself up on this throne. You have to operate in that state of awareness, as we can see with his halo kind of around his head there, as like you know what you have to do. It's the people who know what they have to do that don't do it, that live lives that are stressed and strained and full of chaos, right? Doesn't mean you can't still do a lot of things. It's more about just cutting out the things that you know don't work for you. And destiny, and yes, destiny. There is a component of meant to be with certain things. And I feel like your destiny is calling you stronger than ever. Now, we're always living in our destiny every moment, because every lesson and contact and opportunity is a part of our destiny. So it's not as though we can't achieve it. But I do feel sometimes that it calls us forward more strongly than it does at other times. Sometimes we feel a little bit lost in the wind and we have no direction whatsoever. And then other times we're like, yeah, I know exactly what I need to do. I know exactly how this is supposed to go. I know exactly all of the steps that I'm supposed to take. And I think that's where you're at. You know what you have to do, and now it's a matter of just doing it. And because the sun is in Virgo, there really aren't that many excuses left anymore. We really can't play that game with ourselves. We can't, just watch things pass us by. Virgo is about getting it done. We have... Okay, sorry, I just wanted to make sure I was laying this out right. Okay, we got the Swan Queen, transformative, intuitive, and patient. Yes, transformative. That is a word that we have all become just a little too familiar with. I mean, it sounds all great, but we all know how hard it is. We all know what an important process that is. And yes, intuition, of course, yes. You're being guided by your intuition. Your destiny speaks to you through that mechanism. It speaks to you through your knowing. So if you're not listening and you're denying yourself and you're continually trying to hang on to those 10 of Wands, even though you're falling or drowning, then that's kind of on you, And then patience is, the patience of the growth afterward. Once the transformation is complete, quote unquote, how long does it take before you start seeing the rewards of that? And it does take time. And I think that's why this sort of seat of awareness, this seat of power with the four card, the authority card, is even that much more important and that much more relevant. Because we have to be in that state of authority in order to have that patience. Otherwise, we're going to freak out and be like, oh my God, something's wrong. Something has to give. And then we're going to just get right back to our old patterning. Universe sometimes tests us of like, we need to make sure that this person is sure that they know what they're doing, that they know that their life is changing. Some of us are really afraid of that change. We say it all the time, but when it really comes to fruition, we can freak out sometimes. So we have this unexpected blue moon energy. And yes, there probably will be something unexpected that happens. An unexpected person, an unexpected contact sort of comes to the surface a little bit. And that's okay. I think the bet, right, you're safe. You and your loved ones are safe. Am I letting fear stop me? We should never be afraid of the unexpected. We should never be afraid of what is yet to come and live solely in the moment, solely in the space. And you might even surprise yourself. You might even make some kind of a decision, because as Mars slows down, all of us are going to be affected by Mars a little differently. So as Mars slows down and Jupiter slows down, and both are preparing for a change in direction, Jupiter direct, Mars retrograde. Some of us could come to work someday or wake up in the morning one day and just be like, boom, I need to do this. And then all of a sudden your life goes on an unexpected turn, and that's so great, right? And we have this, oh my God, I can never pronounce these. Rabia, the Queen of Saintly Women. I am in service of divine love. I move the way love asks me to move. And that's ultimately what this is really all about, love. Because this Queen of Coins here is a really important energy. Let's actually pop her back out here, because I think she's the most important, because she really is the epitome of love in a lot of ways. She has this value, and there's this desire to share for the sake of abundance for all, right? She doesn't just plant seeds only for herself. She's not a hoarder. She doesn't like make money just for herself. She doesn't plant her garden just for herself. She plants as much as she can, and she puts all of her love and all of her dedication into it for the sake of creating a better community all around. So whatever your talents are, you guys, this is an opportunity for you to really revisit your talents. What are your talents? Are you an artist, right? Are you a good parent? Are you a good teacher? Are you good at building things? Are you a good engineer? Are you good at science? Are you good at developing things? Like, what are you good at? Are you a good writer? And it's time for you to just be like, okay, I'm good. And it can create value. Boom. And that's the deciding factor, because it really does come from love. I am in service of divine love. And divine love through destiny is trying to express itself through you in this moment in time. I move the way love asks me to move, which means there's no rigidity here. And when you're in your seat of power, you can change course a million times and never feel it and never feel a thing and never flounder. It's not about changing course. That's the easy part. It's about how rattled you're going to get by doing it. If you allow a change of course to really rattle you and create fear in you, then you might not be as strong as you think. What else? We've got, exchanging gifts. This is one of the cards that always comes out that I'm always like, I have no idea how to interpret this. But with this reading, this makes perfect sense, because you are giving your gift, and in return, the universe will give you yours. It's very clear. What you give, you will get. Wolf, instinct. Yes, all about intuition, all about following your gut. There seems to be a quality of like you've been here before, or you're really kind of stepping into your contract. It's almost as though our contracts here on earth, right, are with these incarnations. It's like they have two parts. It's like part one, we have to learn all the lessons in order to understand what our true value is. And then part two, we need to give that value. We're stepping into part two now. And again, it's like DNA. It's like in your coding. It is instinctual. That's why it's not scary. That's why you're safe, because you're living into your most raw self. Part one is full of a lot of programming and the world telling you what you're all supposed to do, and the undoing of that programming. So as you undo your programming, you are becoming more of your instinctual self. And when you are there, when you are in that true authentic self, that is when part two of your mission can really begin. And we have adventures. Yes, exactly. And I think this whole life is going to be full of adventures, really from this point forward. It has been up to this point, of course, but there are more and yet to come. But this one is going to be a little different. This kind of adventure is different because it's not self-serving in any way, shape, or form. That's why I am in service of divine love. I move the way love asks me to move. And of course, a Queen of Coins is full of love. And I think it's going to be a much more abundant life coming up for you here. It's going to be a much more abundant way of being. And I think for that, there's a lot to be excited about. Virgo season is the time of transition, right? We're ending the summer and we're making our way into fall. Virgo and Libra season, a lot happens during these 2 months. A lot happens, and there's a lot of opportunity. And then Scorpio season comes, and this is when magic starts to happen. This is truly a magical season. So we're kind of in that preparation mode, and we can take the next couple of months and really analyze what needs to be dropped, what needs to be left behind, so that we can make room for our destiny and therefore our new adventure. Okay? All right, Pile 1. I love you guys so much. I wish you nothing but the best, and I'll see you very soon with the September readings. Take care. Bye-bye. Okay, pile number 2, you guys selected the rose quartz. Here we go. We have strength, 8 of swords, the moon, 9 of swords, and the 7 of gold. Wow, what the heck is going on, you guys? The moon energy in the very center is a little bit interesting because it indicates that there's, kind of a haziness around things. There's sort of a questioning, being forced to walk out into the darkness without really having any inclination as to what the outcome of anything is going to be. And maybe it's your desire to know that is really taking hold right now. And that's maybe the dominant force. Like, you want to know. You want to know, you want to know, you want to know this outcome. You want to know how this is going to work. Because I see a lot, a lot of fear around stuff. Being tied up here, eyes blindfolded here, eyes closed here. There's some stuff that I don't think you're really wanting to look at. And the sad part of that is that the things that you don't want to look at are your treasures. 7 of coins. You're not wanting to look inside of yourself. And maybe there's too much expectation on the external world right now, too much expectation of what someone else is going to do, what someone else is going to say, how this is person's going to respond, or what's the outcome of the situation, or will I get the thing, when really none of that has any weight at all. You're putting way too much weight on it. And I feel like there's a very hard exterior right now because maybe you're afraid of the vulnerability that life is pushing you into. Maybe it's very uncomfortable, and we have this strength card, which is an indication that you are needing to be strong right now. And I think it's strong in terms of looking at your fear. It's strong in terms of your boundaries and your barriers. It's strong to live and let live, to really let the flow of your life happen. If you find yourself pushing things away or pushing people away for superficial reasons, probably stop pushing them away. And there might be this question of, well, am I listening to my intuition or am I listening to my fear, and not being able to really differentiate between the two? Look, guys, fear talks to you. Intuition does not. Fear has a voice, and that dialogue that you're doing back and forth in your mind, left and right, up and down, and all sorts of directions, where there are actual words going through your mind, that is fear. Intuition is a feeling. And there does seem to be a need to really get out of your head. You've got this moon in the center. This is your intuition here. This speaks to you. The question is, do you feel at peace or not? Because the way the moon operates is it's impossible to really lie to yourself. It's impossible. And I don't know what we're doing with that anyway. I think we've been doing that for too long. We all have been lying to ourselves about things. We've been lying to ourselves about what we really want. We've been lying to ourselves about the real reasons or the real intentions for something. But the intuition cannot be lied to because it is only truth and only ever truth. So when we're in that position of lying to ourselves about something, right? Our self knows we're not in harmony, that we're not aligned. And when we're not in harmony and when we're not aligned, I think that creates a great deal of sadness with stuff. And a depletion of gratitude, a depletion of appreciation. I think if you were being totally honest with yourself, you would be fully impressed by the things that you've accomplished in this life. You'd be fully impressed by the life that you are living. But your ego is like, no, we got to take it further. We can do more. We can do more. We can do more. We can make more money. We can be more prominent. We can work harder. We can. Now, there's nothing wrong with that. But it does indicate a fear of what is. And I feel like pile number 2, it's a really important exercise for you to just really sit with stuff. Virgo season is a lot about doing, but there's a lot of inner work here during Virgo season that can be done. A lot. Because this is the sign of self-mastery. This is the sign of putting it all together, right? We've got Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo. All 5 archetypes have to do with the self, right? They're all in the lower hemisphere of the zodiac, first 6 signs. And of these 5, Virgo season is where we lump all of these things together and we learn all of these lessons so that we can, in Libra season, begin opening up and interacting with other people in a more whole and complete way. And now's the time for you to really start asking yourself where you could go easier on yourself. Where can you relax? Where can you establish more peace in your life? Because clearly something's not working. 8 of Swords, 9 of Swords, these are really stressful things. If you're really focused on money or really concerned about your money situation, it's time for you to look deep inside, strength, to look very deep and say, what can I create? What can I give? That's a theme in Virgo season, I'm not going to lie. Like, what can we give? What can we offer? How can we help? Because a lot of times these swords happen when we're so self-focused, when we're so focused only on ourselves. And I think this is a week maybe or a month for you to really start opening yourself up and saying, how can I contribute to the greater thing, the greater picture, the greater good? How can I deepen my trust? Oh, that's a good one. How can I deepen my trust right now? Trust, surrender, let go of the wheel. You can trust. You can trust yourself, trust fully in yourself so that you can deepen your trust in others. Trust creates safety, and when we feel safe, we feel unstoppable. This is about finding your center. Is that really where this comes from? Is your lack of trust in yourself? Now is the time to work on that. Now is the time to really offer yourself gratitude, right? You guys picked the heart to rose quartz. This is about emotional stability. It's about love. It's about the heart chakra. Okay? And we have look at the bigger picture. Yes, Virgo season, we can have a tendency to look at the very small minutia, but now would be a good time to kind of step out of that mindset and open yourself up to the big picture. Oh my God, you guys, a time to give rather than take. A new moon in Virgo. Yes, exactly. A time to give rather than take. So that question, how can I give today? How can I be of service today? When you open yourself up, when you open your picture up, your perspective to something bigger, a lot of things start to fall into place and a lot of these swords start to kind of melt away. And then what you're left with is a perspective of, wow, look at all this. These 7 of coins, look at all of this. How great that is. How amazing that is. Foundation and achievements. What's this one? Recognition and reward. There's something going on. The energy is shifting. You're really building something. You have built something. And it's taking you places. This is a long game. This is not just, a get rich quick type of deal, right? I say get rich quick in kind of a metaphorical sense. I don't mean actual sense, but more metaphorical than anything. This is for the sake of the next decade. we all have been forced to go deep this year, right? Not only from like national and global events, but how those national and global events have affected us. And because we've been able to go so deep, we have been able to strip away a lot of the superficial. And that leaves us with a very solid foundation. There's no doubt about it, because you're operating solely from truth. So when you couple trust with truth, you then have a home that will stand for generations to come. And I know that a lot of this breaking through this has also been a lot of healing, not only from your own stuff, but also from your ancestral lineage as well. So all of this healing is then being perpetuated into, your day-to-day, and therefore affecting people as well in a good way. And I suspect that at some point, people are going to really start to take notice of you. They're going to start to see you. They're going to start to celebrate you in a new kind of way. But it's going to feel both good, but also it's one of those things where you know how much blood, sweat, and tears went into it. The full process. Other people just see the outside. So you know that there's depth to this. And it's that depth that I think you're starting to share with people. We have the map maker of destiny, authentic purpose, inspiration, and free will. Free will has been a theme. Transformation has been a theme. But I love this inspiration, authentic purpose. I don't know that you guys are really trying that hard with stuff. I think maybe it's more about giving up more than anything, giving up on the narratives that you tell yourself, giving up on the fear, giving up on all the reasons why, and just being like, okay, fine, I'll do it. Okay, fine. Okay, fine. Okay, fine. And like before you know it, you're going to be in a totally different space or a totally different station in life. There is a plan for all of this. And whether you like it or not, whatever is happening in your mind and in your hearts, it's getting you to where you need to be. Okay? Assessing. Yes, you might be assessing your options. You might be really looking at things. And I often see that highly analytical energy with that 7 of coins as well. You're trying to figure it out. There's not a lot to figure out here, guys, because you can't open your heart and find the words, right? The words and the feelings and the emotions are not in there. You can sit here and think about it all you want, but ultimately it's more about faith. Our faith is the thing that is being tested right now. There is no doubt about that. And we have Pope Joan, the Pontiff of Possibilities. The possibilities are limitless because your soul is limitless. That's a good reminder for all of us, right? We often find ourselves limiting. That's what this 8 and 9 of Swords is really all about. You have set limitations on yourself because of your fear and your insecurities and because of maybe even past experiences. But like I said last week, to one of the piles anyway last week was, you've never been where you've been before. The past can't repeat. It can't go down the same path because you're a totally different person. So stop trying to put yourself in this box of identity of who you used to be and start living in who you are and who you are becoming, which is a nonstop process. It's really limitless, right? It really is about the boundlessness of our identity, the boundlessness of our experiences. And nothing from the past should be defined. Nothing of our present or future should be defined by our past. The tribe. I think you're connecting with new people, companies, friends, lovers. It's all new. It's all different. And it's all aligned. That's why if you're pushing these things away, your intuition is like, what the heck are you doing? Stop lying. Stop trying to define this as something bad. Stop trying to define this as something you should push away because it's scary, because it's hard, because it challenges you just a little bit. Because ultimately, this is about, right, what can you give rather than take. This is about what you can really offer to the world. And if the universe is trying to give you something and you're pushing it away, then what do you think everyone else is going to do to what you're trying to give? If you want to be able to give and receive that recognition and reward and that achievement, then you also have to be able to receive as well. And the universe is making sure that you're around the right people to do that. Shaman, ancient healing wisdom. I think you're the keeper of that right now, whether you realize it or not, because you went through it. Because you've had those experiences. And you actually are understanding what healing really means. It's not just about getting over someone. It's about becoming whole. Mind, body, spirit, heart. All operating in tandem, but understanding each function. And I think if you are truly honest with yourself, you're a lot farther along than you're giving yourself credit for. And flow, exactly. That's what this really all comes down to, is flow. Because these swords are resistant forces. But the strength is the strength of knowing that yes, you may have these resistant forces, but you continue forward anyway. And that's how you deepen your trust. That's how you are capable of giving rather than taking. There's a lot of different moving parts to this reading. A destiny, an assessment, there's a fear, there's a giving, there's people. There's a lot of pieces of this puzzle coming together for you right now. You're not going to be able to stay stagnant. So you have to flow. So you might as well just start letting the river carry you without fighting back, even though you're a little scared. Okay? All right, pile number 2. I love you guys. I'll see you very, very soon with the September readings. All right? Have a great week. Take care. Bye-bye. Okay, pile number 3. You guys selected the Chrysocolla. Let's go ahead here and take a look. We've got the 6 of Wands, beautiful, like a card of victory. 3 of Cups, card of abundance. Knight of Cups, 2 of Coins, and 3 of Wands. Seems to me you might be trying to balance out your own life and your own ambitions and your own work and incorporating something new. Knight of Cups. I think the Knight of Cups is someone or something new coming into your life that likely you manifested. 3 of Wands likely was something that you purposefully wanted, but now that it seems to be arriving, there might be a question of, well, how do I integrate? How do I integrate this person? How do I integrate this thing or this opportunity into my day-to-day lives? How do I, sustain this? Because up to this point, maybe it was just the wanting. You just wanted to want it. And now that it's more of a reality, you're like, oh, now I have to kind of live into this. Now I got to actually do something with this. You'll find a way, 6 of Wands, there's no doubt. You'll find a way. And I'm wondering if maybe on some level, the hard part is enjoying it. Maybe not for many of you. Maybe some of you are like, woohoo, yes, finally it came. Finally it's here. But for some of you, maybe it is hard to actually really enjoy it because you're, like I say, you're trying to integrate. So you're not trying to lose anything that you've already had going for yourself. You're just trying to bring in something new. You're trying to find the time for it. You're trying to find the passion and the energy and the nurturing that it needs. But I don't think that Knight of Cups is really going anywhere. I think it's here to stay. I think it's something that really likes being in your life. Again, that could be a person or it could be something else. It really likes being in your life. It really likes your energy. It seems to be vibing with your energy. And in one hand, I think, you might just be reveling in the fact oh yeah, I did manifest that. Good for me. That really works. I really am magical. I really am powerful. I really can, call things into my space based on my energy. the realization that that stuff really works, you know. Sometimes I do think we call things into our lives without realizing what it means, without realizing what kind of, you know, arrangements we need to make for it. But you'll find a way. I'm pretty confident that you'll find a way. We do see a balance coming through with this Two of Coins, so that's a really good sign. We have, you know, the Three of Wands, which means that there's a future as well. There's prosperity, there's wealth, there's abundance, happiness, fulfillment, because of the presence of this Knight of Cups. Some of you are pursuing creative pursuits. You're stepping into your creative role. You're stepping into your own uniqueness in a really powerful way as well, in a way that the world needs and truly appreciates at this moment in time. And I think there's going to be a lot of value that you bring to the world because of the presence of this opportunity. Definitely this Knight of Cups represents some kind of a heartfelt decision or a heartfelt option, meaning it does come from the heart. It's not necessarily of the mind, which might be one of the reasons why you're struggling a little bit. Because if you had it, you know, as a part of your mind, you'd be like, okay, we could do this, and this, and we can organize it like this, and we can structure it like this. But here this is, and like maybe this is a person, you're like, well, I can't structure a person like that, you know, or I can't structure a passion like that. I have to just kind of let it be what it is and unfold the way it needs to unfold. And, you know, maybe you're trying to control it a little bit, but I don't really see that kind of energy coming out. There's a lot of positive, free-flowing, accepting, grateful cards coming out. So I think for most of you, you're happy that the Knight of Cups is showing up in your life or pumping through your veins if it's more of a creative muse type of energy. I think you're happy and grateful for that, which is good. What do I resist feeling right now? Okay. We have to feel it to heal it. In order to let go of pain, we first have to honor its existence. Emotions are like waves. Some are soft, some are fierce, some are layered, and some will sweep you off your feet. When we allow ourselves to feel it all, we can then release what no longer serves us. Maybe there is a healing aspect to this Knight of Cups. If it's a creative endeavor, if it's another person, there is something that seems to be, you know, a completion of some kind. And it is a wave, right? It is a wave of emotion, a wave of caring or of passion. And sometimes the indulgence of those things is really what life is all about, just so long as it's healthy and it's not hurting anybody else. You know, this is about the integration of two things, and we can definitely integrate both the head and the heart into our day-to-day lives. You're allowed to follow your heart. You're allowed to fall in love. You're allowed to be creative, obviously. So if you're feeling resistance because it doesn't fit in or it doesn't work or it's too difficult right now or whatever it is, then I think you're holding yourself back and denying yourself that you ultimately want it. Otherwise, you wouldn't have manifested it the way you did. Bring love into the situation. Now, this is a new moon in Aquarius love. Confidence is your key to success. I don't always see Aquarius energy as being romantic love, although it definitely could be. But I think this is more of just a love is love type of situation, right? Whether it's a love of a creative pursuit or something else. It's just love. Hopefully that's not what you're resisting. Hopefully you're not resisting love. You're not resisting the good feels. Hopefully you feel worthy as well. Hopefully you feel like, oh, this Knight of Cups comes into my life and I actually do deserve that. I deserve to be treated that way. I deserve to be respected that way. You know, I really hope that you can indulge yourself in that a little bit, because I think that's important to your success. I think that's important to your happiness. Let your life change a little. Let the plan change. Let it be revised. And feel good about it. Why not? Why the heck not? Yes, positive movement forward. Things are rapidly evolving for you. This Knight of Cups situation in the very center connected with the stone, it's not for nothing. It's definitely taking you somewhere. Now, I'm not going to promise you that there's like a future with this, but it's at least a dot that's connecting you to something else. It's at least a stepping stone at the minimum. It could be developing into something powerful. It could be, if you're started dating someone new, it could be the love of your life, the one that you end up getting married and having babies with. Like, that's definitely a possibility. Or it could be the creative passion that you quit your job for that ultimately, lands you on the cover of some magazine or something. You know what I mean? Like, who's to say? Who's to say? This is positive movement forward. So there's a reason and a purpose with everything. And I think it's happening fast, probably faster than you would have realized. And then we have the universe card, of course, because just to remind you that there is a divine plan, just to remind you that there are reasons for things, to remind you that it's all a part of something much, much, much bigger than yourself. And if you resist, that's fine. You can definitely resist. That's a part of your choices that you have. But the question is, why would you want to, right? When the universe is created, right? Bring love into the situation. When the universe is created from a place of love of creation, why wouldn't we also want that in our own lives as well? Okay. Sacred union, partnership, and romance. Maybe the Knight of Cups is a romantic connection. Maybe this is romantic love for a lot of you. And now is an opportunity for you to indulge yourself in that. Just fall in. It might be the best thing that ever happened to you. If you're already married, if you're already in love, this is an opportunity for you to deepen that connection. If you're totally single with not a prospect in sight, maybe this is a sacred union with yourself. Right? Maybe this is you for you. But what's the worst that could happen? What? You could actually be happy? Attraction. Okay. A lot of duality coming out here, right? Sacred union, including a pair. We have the Two of Coins. We have the attraction. And I do sense that this was something that you called into your life. You can take credit for this. And from what I'm seeing, right, with the tarot cards, the first 5 cards that I pulled out, there's nothing negative here at all. There's nothing to be afraid of. There's no warnings. There's no like, hey, watch out for this person because they might be like this. There's nothing like that coming out. And again, I don't remember if I said it in this pile or one of the previous piles, but the choices and the options that are being placed in front of us right now have nothing to do with the outcome. They have everything to do with our ability to trust and have faith. To have faith in the goodness, to have faith in the greater good, to have faith in the universal plan. So you have to have faith. You attracted it because you deserved it, right? Because you're worthy of it. White buffalo calf woman, the prophetess of the sacred way. My heart is a compass. The path of love is true abundance. Holy cow, there's so much love coming out in this reading. And sometimes we forget that that's really the driving force of the world anyway, right? Sometimes we forget that, without love, very few things would be possible or pleasurable. And if your heart is guiding you towards someone or something, then why the hell not? Your heart is a compass. It is. And sometimes we just stop listening. But we don't have to stop listening. We can keep listening because it's the heart that brought this into your life in the first place. Oh my gosh. How many of these partnership? Oh my gosh. We got one more. Okay. We've got this co-create card. Okay, there's an element of two people, two things, you and the universe, you and another person, you and something else, creating positive movement forward, creating a sacred union, creating attraction. The two things, whatever this pairing is, the two things attracted each other. You, what you did, and them, what they did. Okay, and if it's not a person, it's a part of your destiny, and your destiny was attracting you to it. And you are co-creating this future. You are co-creating. And I like that you're, kind of in that state of awareness of your role. Because when you're in that awareness of your role in things, then you're more likely to handle things responsibly and with respect. Whale, breach. Yes, you are. You are breaching. You are breaking through limitations here. And maybe you even had like some kind of a mental breakthrough even. Maybe you have. Maybe you realized how to be free. Maybe you realized how to break that boundary or how to break that barrier. Maybe this was the indication that, oh, you do know what you're doing. You do know what this means. You do know how it works. And then I had to laugh a little, like happiness, and there's 2 dolphins on here. Nothing wrong with that. That's what this is all about. That's what this is all for. And I love that you picked the green Chrysocolla, because that's definitely a heart chakra stone. And this is all about the heart, this whole reading. And I do feel that if you wanted to be happy, you just kind of lean into where you're at, and then you're good to go. And then happiness cannot evade you under no circumstances, because you are creating it purposefully. And that's all you need to know. All right, pile number 3, I'm going to leave you with that. Thank you so, so much for everything. I truly wish you nothing but the best. I love you guys, and I hope you have an amazing Virgo season. I'll talk to you guys soon. Take care.